What's your story? Every one of us regurgitates things that have happened to us in the past or what we think is going to happen in the future, and very few of us stay present. Present is the moment. Present is in the experience. We can meditate. You know, people meditate and they can meditate for hours and they can say, I can experience the now, you know, like I can feel it, the whole universe. I'm so connected. True awareness is to be able, in a sense, to have that feeling in the experience that you're experiencing, right? It's to be completely aware of the whole universe in your body and what's going on. So I've done the prayer thing and I've done the meditation thing, and I say it's a thing because I want to just it's an experience. Okay, so for those that gotten, I've meditated lots. I've had that experience. I've prayed, and my when I learned how to do Einstellen, tuning in, Einstellen is a German word for tuning in. Tuning in, the best way to describe it in my book is to the whole power of the universe comes into my body. Okay, so instead of having to connect in a sense with the outer realms or to feel it, and when you say come back into your body, come back into presence, it's the presence is here. Because if you really talk about oneness and you talk about unity, and then you recognize there is only that. There can be no separation between me and you, or me and this computer, or me and anything else, because the source, the creator, the oneness, the unified field is the presence. It's our perception, and we have a unique perception. We have our own filters, and I focus in over here, and you focus in over there, and someone's there and there. We're all a different point in a circle, right? We're designed that way to have different experiences. And if you can be just with the experience, you'll give that truly is freedom. Yeah, like that's freedom. Freedom to know that you're going to have another moment and you're going to have another moment. And to get to that space is where I feel that's my story. That's where the world's going. It is because I've experienced such a relief and such a freedom of trusting and believing, living in the moment. But I was the best storyteller when I was so-called spiritual. And I say it like that because maybe you've had that experience where you meet someone, they go, you know what? They go, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. So I was one of those where I was spiritual, and I had countless bookshelves of books, and had read everything, was a big Hay House supporter. And I, you know, from Edgar Casey to, you know, Seth way back in, just all kinds of stuff, right? So in those experiences, that was all this knowledge. It's like all their experiences and their sharing, and we do share our experiences. So other people can go, oh yeah, that resonates with me. That resonates with me. That's what it's about. It's what resonates with you to get there. So in my storytelling, I had learned so much. There was always a reason for something happening. And so it'd be like, oh, well, that's just because we had the full moon, or that's because we had the, you know, the solar flashes, or that's because, you know, the soils had been genetically modified. And there was always a story for a reason for what was going on. And I remember, when I was in that space and I had a couple dear, beautiful spiritual soul family that had already had that experience. So they would just smile at me. And I remember I called her my spiritual mama. She'd say, oh, you have such wonderful stories. And my thing would be like, but it's the truth. Right? Because that's all I knew. But at the same token, I received what she was saying, and I could feel what she was saying was making me go, yeah, what she's saying sounds more true than what I'm saying, right? Could it be that I'm in a story? And that was the process for me to start to notice how I had created stories, right, from the time I was a child in order to survive and to be in this world, right? Because this world just seemed like, whoa, people are so whacked out of touch, disconnected. And many children that are, empathetic, or maybe every single child naturally knows that, because they come into this experience and they go, hey man, I've totally forgot what I was doing here, and these weird and wild people. Again, that is just a way for me to explain what could be going on. And so the habits I designed back then as a child to deflect, or to understand, to try and comprehend what was going on, that became a defense mechanism, right? But it was also then became sort of an offense, because then it was like, I knew something you don't know. So therefore it made me feel a little bit, in a sense, more superior, because, well, you haven't read or experienced, or, all the things I've done. And if you knew this, then you'd know that this is going on. And then that phase went away. And I would say to people, where that phase where I thought, because I had known so much, I had raised my kids differently and had so many more spiritual experiences, and done so many different modalities and gatherings of a spiritual nature, that I would have been like an 8 out of 10 on the spiritual scale, because I just knew so much. And then that 8 soon became a 1 when I realized, every time I think I know what's going on, or what the answer is, or why it's happening, is just being disconnected, is being ignorant, because I'm missing the possibility of the now. There's infinite possibilities in the now, infinite possibilities in the moment. 8 billion individuals are having an experience on this planet, and each of them is having a different experience in different parts. They have different vegetation, they have different landscape, they have different feelings, they have different thoughts, they have different family members. It's all different. And in that, then there can be listening to one broadcast or one channel, and they're coming together, and it can be, see, like things are shifting and changing. It could be. That's part of my overall still story, to say what I feel is going on, to explain in the sense of the awe of the presence of the moment, of this now. So in this now, I'm having an experience, and you're having an experience, and that's all we're having is the experience. And what comes in the next experience is the experience. So if I have to define the experience and say, well, this is what's going to happen, I am in a sense limiting the experience. So if and you hear me, I'm saying, okay, this is my story. The world's transforming from caterpillar to butterfly, right? We've been in the crystals for a while now. Things are breaking down. There's so many people that still want some of the things from being in the caterpillar world. They're like, oh, we just have to fight harder and we'll make them change that. And other people are like, they're fighting with the people that they think that are resisting that, because they want it to go back to be a caterpillar. But we're shifting. We're going into a whole new age, right? As some will say, it's the Aquarian age, right? It is those words. So that's like the story that you're reading, and your story has a theme, and your story has the chapters, whatever the novel is, and each of us are having our own participation in our own story, like the ultimate story, the ultimate program, the reason why you want to say that you're here, right? We're still looking for a reason. In the moment, anything is possible. So if you're feeling, if you're feeling out of sorts, or you're struggling, you're depressed, or you're anxious, or you're fearful, or you're, what's going to happen? Oh, I need to, because this is coming. You're missing the moment, because in the moment, everything's perfect. And you'll know the next moment through your guidance of what you need to do. You'll know, you'll always be notified in here of what the next step is. You'll always be prepared if you're following here. But if you're tuned in to the deceptive broadcast, and that's part of the experience, okay? There's no right or wrong, because as I've already said, I've had that experience and where I was totally, under that influence, but yet thinking that I was in the right place, because that's where I was, right? So no right or no wrong, it's just what is. What I'm saying is, if you feel like you want something to shift because your body and your mind are feeling overwhelmed or fearful or anxious, release the story. Release the story. Release the story. And you go, well, how is that so easy? Well, sometimes it can be harder than maybe you think, or it can be easier than you think. And if you write it out, you got to notice the words you're doing. And that's a fine-tuned training. It's like I was saying to my girlfriend, as a chef, she knows how to do things a little differently than someone like myself who's just trying to cook. So she can give me hints, but it still isn't the same. So I can explain all this to you, and say, write out what you're doing, and then what is the opposite of that if you gave up that story, right? That you'd be able to, instead of being anxious, you'd be able to trust. It's noticing that it's when I can listen to the exact words somebody's using, then I can help fine tune, just like the chef in the recipe, exactly to make sure they're releasing the program that's in them, or the pattern, or and where the energy is that's there. That's the nuts and bolts of it. Is we breathe in oxygen, that's what we're told, and we exhale carbon dioxide. So you're breathing in new life, you're taking in new information, and you're releasing what you don't want. You're releasing what no longer works for you, where you go, you know what, that habit needs to go. So the world is releasing being a caterpillar. We're releasing being up here in the mind, all the stuff they consider, and we're moving to the heart. And when you're in the heart beats once, like the Sisters of Turtle Island, right? Beat, 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 beat. That's the moment. So you can put your hand to the heart if you want to come back into the moment. You can notice your breath if you want to come back into the moment. You can open up and do your inner guidance tune in and feel the presence, right? And so you can say it with me. Say it after me, okay? For those, the first time. Open up your palms so they're facing up, ready to receive the gift. Put your legs slightly apart and think of something that makes you happy, really joyful. Just feel that feeling in your body of feeling joyful. And then you can say it after me. Take about a minute. So I am asking for my inner guidance to clearly communicate with me in each and every moment for my highest and best good. And I'm asking to be open to receive this clear communication in each and every moment for my highest and best good, and to take joyful action on it. Thank you. And just notice what you notice in your body. Are you feeling a little bit more peace? Can you feel a calmness running through like a current? Are you invigorated? Do you have tingling? Is there a cold sensation in your toes or your hands? Is there a little bit of pain maybe somewhere? Is there heat? Notice what's going on in your body. And as you continue to recharge yourself daily, to recommit to your inner guidance, to your intuition, to your inner GPS, and you keep it fully charged, just like you keep your cell phone charged or your laptop. You give yourself, your body that's allowing you to have this experience, the same attention, the same commitment. Your experiences will shift dramatically, and your stories will start to change. So I'm going to be holding the space for a little bit longer because at the moment, I'm in a beam. It just feels I'm in a current that's running right up from the floor all the way through my body and up and down. And so my eyes are staying closed and my palms are literally like, wow, they're full of balls of light. If that's it, they're like streams and they're pretty much stuck to my legs at the moment. So when this ends, this is the part about recharging, when you plug your cell phone and you wait until it says recharge. So this is the gift and the experience I'm having right now. And it's always fun when I do this online. Because people that just tune in, sometimes they just see me just here on screen. They're going, what is she doing? But I must admit, thanks to the pandemic, so many more people have done meditations and tune-ins over the past 15 months. It's become natural to see people, or normal to see people just being on the screen holding the presence. And if you need to sigh, right? Things like that, laughter, those are all parts of releasing. Yawning is releasing, right? Your body needs to let go. If you feel like you need to jump up and down or beat a drum, move, yell like we did the other day in the park, just release. Just release so your body is free to absorb and has more room, in a sense, for the new energy. That's the best way I can describe it or be an analogy for it. Is you got to pour out the old in order to receive the new. So the caterpillar has to entirely go before the butterfly shows up. And as the butterfly is being created now, then the wings have to grow stronger. And I can feel there's going to be a release in a moment. Not quite. Okay, I was going to say, and then I can fly my wings out. No, still here. And so if you do have any sort of feeling that's a little bothers you a little bit, like you can shake it off, right? Just speak out any pain that if you're experiencing anything, and just release it all. Yeah, so that was just a new energy that popped in. And sometimes when you encounter, as you're out and about, you will notice, if you're really in tune with your body, that it's just literally like there was like an energy field you walked into. It could be another spirit that you just connected with, and nothing that you can maybe see. If you might just feel it, other people might see it before they feel it, but it's just the sense of you have this like, oh, that just, wow, just release that. And Again, if you can just stay in the experience of what your body is instead of making it mean something, then you're being aware of your experience, noticing what you're noticing. And there is only the experience. Past, present, future, now, all now. It's only the now. And so it is. Lots of love. Stay fully charged. Notice what you notice. Change your story.